welcome back to the No Cut Sports Podcast with your host, Now Frazier. And y'all already know, man, we got some things we need to talk about, right? But before we get started, if you could for me, please like, comment, and subscribe to always catch this vibe, man. Y'all already know. Also, excuse my mic setup. My holder just broke. After I get off of here, I'm going to go on Amazon and get me a new one, so don't even worry. But before we even get into what we need to talk about, I want to send my condolences to the Cowboys, man, because I see their defensive end, Marshawn Nealand, passed away unexpectedly. I don't want to, get into all the details. I mean, y'all probably know, Google for yourself, but it's just a reminder, man, when we talk about players on this joint, or it's me specifically, when I talk about players, I do try to give them as much grace as possible. I still got to critique them, but not to the point where, you want somebody going off and doing something crazy to themselves, man. So just a reminder, doing this, just be graceful with your words and, just critiquing players, man. 'Cause like I said, we are fans first. I'm a fan first, and I do understand, being a man as well, just having that, that simple respect for people. Because we're not out there. Like, I can't go out there and play cornerback or nothing like this. So, just having that respect for the players in the game. So, with that being said, like I said, I want to send my condolences to the Cowboys, man. At the end of the day, it's a rivalry, but you always got to show love. So, shout out to them, man. But let's get into what we need to talk about. I do apologize if this sounds crazy, because it sounds crazy in my headphones. But don't want to keep y'all too long. But I know it's been a little bit, but the Philadelphia Eagles done made a lot of moves, a lot of things done happened since I've been on here last, and I do apologize for that. But let's get into what we need to talk about, man. As you know, we had a trade deadline, right? November 4th, 4 o'clock, I want to say. It ended. A lot of players, a lot of teams got moved. Players got moved to different teams. But all in all, I still feel like overall that the Eagles are still the best team in the NFL. And that's not just me saying that because I'm a fan, but just how the team is constructed on both sides of the ball. Pause. And the Philadelphia Eagles, if you did get a chance to watch my podcast with me and my favorite host, Mr. Reggie, shout out to my man, Mr. Reggie, Bet on Yourself Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you go follow him. But we talked about what we were looking for at the trade deadline with the Philadelphia Eagles. As you know, they did acquire 3 players, Jaelan Phillips, Jair Alexander, and Michael Carter II. 3 players that I really do. All right, I'm going to say it like this. Because I think I did say something about Jair Alexander, right? And that was just in reference to his injury history. Talent-wise, we all know the talent is there, but the injury history before he did get picked up, before who's the team? Ravens he came from. So, that was a concern of mine. But happy to have him on the team, man, because we're not looking for him to go out here and be, a top tier talent. We just need him to be serviceable at the cornerback 2 position if he can play. I know his knee has been holding him back a little bit, and he's still pretty young. What is he? 26, 28, if I'm not mistaken. So, I do like the acquisition, man. Pro Bowler 2 times. High pedigree, brings versatility to the secondary. So, especially like I said, with that cornerback 2 position, it's just really been. I do apologize. That cornerback 2 position has really just been up in the air all season because go out here and go get Jacorian Bennett, who really didn't get a chance to show himself, show his talent, what he can do, get acclimated into Vic Fangio's system, which is the intricate system that he does run for the defense. But all in all, I feel like with Adoree Jackson and Akili Ringo, who was supposed to take this position over, it hasn't shown up yet. You feel what I'm saying? I think by like week 4 or 5, maybe 6, you should start to understand that or know who should be where and how the depth should be at that position, especially at the cornerback 2 position. And there's other positions on the defense that that were impacted as well, but. The cornerback 2 position was something that I felt like needed to be addressed, and they did go out here and get Jair Alexander because the players that they did have did not meet up to the expectation that Vic Fangio had. So I'm just hoping that Jair Alexander can stay healthy, go out here and go play. They also picked up Michael Carter II from the Jets. They ended up trading the wide receiver John Mechie for a 2027 6th-round pick. He's a younger guy, versatile defensive back who can play the slot, nickel, and gives depth and flexibility to the secondary. They also had a press conference where we were talking to Vic Fangio where he thought either Vic or I want to say Vic or Howie. I do apologize. But Vic or Howie, and they asked him, what they thought about Howie. It was Howie Roseman, what they felt, what they thought about him, right? And long story short, they were sitting there saying where Howie said he feels like, the talent's there, and he could also play the safety position, which kind of threw me for a loop, but not too much so because you got to understand too as well. Andrew McCouba being a rookie, he makes big plays, but at the same time, he's out of place a lot of times, which is understandable. Him being a rookie, like I said, he's still learning the game, learning an intricate system from Vic Fangio. And, it's not Reed Blankenship's back there too, and Sidney Brown, who plays special teams, but it's not a lot of, how can I say, I guess Reed would be the veteran in that position, but, it just takes time for players to pick up on certain things. So, I don't know if we will see Michael Carter playing safety, but the nickel position for sure. Death, I don't know if they want to switch packages, as base package, you get the base package. Make sure I say this right. Base package. You got the linebackers, which they don't really go out there too much with, but they'll go out there more. 3 linebackers, if I'm not mistaken, 2 corners. But then with the nickel, they'll have more corners and DBs out there. So, and please correct me if I said that wrong. I do apologize. Uncle's Friday. I've been sipping a little bit, but long story short, man, it just gives versatility to an already versatile defense, man. And that's what Vic Fangio is known for. So, but like I said, if Michael Carter can stay healthy, I'm cool with it. The biggest thing with these players is we know they have the talent, but can they stay healthy? That's the biggest thing. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. So, the biggest one that we need to talk about is the addition from the Miami Dolphins and Jaelan Phillips from the Dolphins. Like I said, for a 2026 third-round pick. Phillips is the edge rusher with upside and familiarity with Vic Fangio. He played under Vic when he was when Vic was coaching the defense in Miami year before last. So I think he was there about 2 years. A lot of speculation. We were talking about Bradley Chubb or Phillips. They were even talking about Myles Garrett, where we entertained that too, but we already knew Howie Roseman didn't want to give up 3 first-round picks. But if he did, man, you still can't be mad at that. But overall, I feel like this was the best addition to the team, addressing that edge position, because I felt like we weren't getting there as often as we should be. But then again, we are only, and I don't want to say we're only, because we're halfway through the season now, but we don't play our starters in preseason. So them first 4 to 5 games, you really got to understand that it's not going to be pretty, you know what I'm saying? They're still trying to figure out what they have too as well in these players, you know what I mean? You want to see the development, from your like your rookies, like Jalen Hunt, Cooper DeJean, who's been showing out, and Jalen Hunt has been showing out as well these recent games that he's played, and Quinyon Mitchell. I do apologize. Shout out to Neff, but yeah, man, see how the development is coming along. Can they take the roles over? As you know, they brought BG back, so they probably still need some of that veteran leadership on the defensive side. But like I said, overall, this is what needed to be addressed, period. Because if they didn't address it now, they had to address it this offseason. They did open up the window for Willie Lampkin on the offensive side, but the offensive side I felt like was already solidified. We didn't really need to go out here and go do nothing crazy on there. You can afford to lose John Mechie because you still believe in Cooper. You still got a Dotson, first-round draft pick, Smitty, first-round draft pick, A.J. Brown. You already know he don't need to be your first-round draft pick. He the number 1 on that team. So you got so many options on that side of the ball. But the defense was the side that we were kind of lacking on. So going out here getting 3 defensive players before the trade deadline was a remarkable move from Howie Roseman, as we all know. Howie gonna cook every time, ski mask Howie, he get it done. So shout out to Howie Roseman, man. And a lot of these players coming off these injuries and stuff like that might be able to get re-signed. We do got a lot of players to re-sign next year: Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis. But I feel like I don't know how we do it, but how we gonna do it? You feel me? So, so it is. So we're going to see, man. We're going to see. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about that. Let's move on, man. As y'all know, and I do apologize. My mic is. I got a crazy sound in my headphones. It's like, yeah. Hold up. Let's see if I can fix this on the fly. I'm gonna just hold this joint like this. All right. Next, we're gonna talk about the returning players and impact versus the Packers. As you know, last game Saquon Barkley had 150 rushing yards. Tank Bigsby, another player that had 100 yards on like 9 carries or something like that. So I'm looking to see what the Philadelphia Eagles do this upcoming, or the game plan for this upcoming game this Monday night against Green Bay. As y'all know, Green Bay, we really ain't banging with them right now because try to get the tush push bang. We don't like snitches. You know what I'm saying? We don't like people that go out here and try to rain on somebody else's parade. You feel me? The play is available to every team in the NFL, and it's only us, or we're the only team that gets scrutinized for running this play. But I see Josh Allen got the most tush push touchdowns, or whatever you want to call it. So it is what it is, man. But I do want to see Saquon, the run game, Tank Bigsby, get going, because Rico Dowdle, I can't never say my man's last name right. But Rico from the Panthers was able to get busy on that defense. So, as you know, they also picked up not Nolan Smith. Lord have mercy. I do apologize. They picked up Parsons from the Cowboys, and he was running his mouth talking about the best play that we have, or the most consistent play that we have on offense is the tush push. So I'm expecting this offense to go out here and show the Green Bay Packers why we are the Super Bowl, or the reigning Super Bowl champs. These are games that Jalen Hurts gets up for, as y'all know. But I don't really expect. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not really, and this is no disrespect to Green Bay Packers, but they're just not a team that I can take serious, man. Like, yeah, they did what they did to the Cowboys in the playoffs, but when it comes to us, they don't. It'd be a close game, but I don't believe in Jordan Love enough, man. And then the defense is, like I said, has been inconsistent when it comes to that run game. You let the Panthers beat y'all last week, so I know we're gonna get the Packers fans coming up in here talking what they, saying what they say. Every team they lose. We lost 2 games already, so I can't get too crazy with that. But I don't see overall this team beating the Philadelphia Eagles, especially now that we're getting this pass game going. I'm expecting to see A.J. Brown go crazy. You already know. I need him to go. One of them to go crazy. I got Smitty on my fantasy, so I need him to go crazy too. But overall, man, I do expect this offense to be very explosive. And something else we really ain't been talking about is Kevin Patullo as well. I got all the way off my notes, but Kevin Patullo as well with the offense. I feel like he's been calling a good game these last couple of games, but we got to take in mind that the Giants was the last game, but the Vikings was a good kind of indication that the pass game was coming to fruition. But he's been very good in the red zone, man. I can't lie about that. So, and I'm hoping that this works out to the point where he develops this offense. Hopefully he come back. You feel me? Because I feel like this team would be a lot more consistent on the offensive side of the ball if we had a consistent or a continuous OC, to get to understand the players that we do have and things like that. So we'll see, man. I don't want to get too far off, but I feel like Kevin Patullo is coming into himself. I did say in the beginning of the season I thought he would be a good offensive coordinator, but the man has never called plays. We went through our fire Kevin Patullo, but you already know how Philly do, man. We go crazy. We start saying crazy stuff, Don't mind us. That's just the emotion talking. But I'm glad we didn't make that decision to bench my man. But I do want to see what he comes up with, man. Getting ready to play two, and honestly, I would say this might be the hardest part of our schedule because you got to play Green Bay, the Lions, Dallas is it's a toss up because you just never know with them. But they did lose this past week as well. Chicago Bears, which is a team that is coached by Ben Johnson, and I think Ben Johnson is one of the better coaches in the NFL when it came to the offensive coordinator position. And he's getting, the games are still sloppy with Caleb Williams, but they're winning, man. So that's another game that we got to worry about. Another team that we got to worry about. Washington. I don't know if Jaden Daniels comes back before the season's over. I know he did sustain an injury, but that's not going to keep him out all season. So I don't know what they do with him. But I'm expecting, to get the best out of them because that's a divisional game. And the Bills as well, which is a team that they're expecting to go to the Super Bowl. So we'll see what they do, man. I don't like I said, nobody really scared me, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So I just hope that, the only thing with us is, and I don't want to be too long with this, but the only thing with us is us. It's like, are we gonna beat ourselves? Can we execute when we need to execute? Can we call the right play when it's time to call the right play? And I think we're starting to see, that on the offensive side of the ball. Vic, I don't worry about on the defense. They got him his players. So I do think, he going to do what he do. Hopefully Jaelan Phillips plays this Monday night and makes it a living hell for Jordan Love and that offense, man. So yeah, man. But I just think also, too, with the addition, I should say this, with that addition of Jaelan Phillips, he wants to rush forward. So he don't want to blitz as much because I feel like they've been blitzing a lot this season. I don't know, got the stats in front of me, but they have been blitzing when I have watched the games. And I do feel like it's been a lot more than what it was last season. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, man, I just feel like overall how we cooked up, right, with the trees. Got the players that Vic Fangio needed on his defense. The defense is what's going to win us another Super Bowl. I'm not going to sit there and say that we don't need the offense, but being able to hold teams to under a certain amount of points, or every game can't be like the Super Bowl where you hold a team for 3 quarters scoreless. Like that just doesn't happen. But just limiting the number of points that they can put up. That's Vic Fangio's specialty. So I feel like we can lean more into that on the defensive side with these acquisitions with these players if the injury concerns don't start popping up. So if the players can stay healthy and they can get acclimated, I don't really got a problem with Jaelan Phillips, but Jair Alexander, Michael Carter's another player. I think we should be okay, man. So we'll see, man. Offensively, like I said, I want to see the pass game, but I really want to see this run game, man, because I like what we did against the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley and Tank Bigsby went crazy, 100 plus yards for each of those two guys. That's also showing that the offensive line is, starting to do what they do. Shout out to Brett Toth, guy that I kind of been hard on, but I gotta give respect where respect's due, man. He stepped up in a big way, offensively, man, and just the whole offensive line, just held it together, and we're able to get these players, almost like 5 yards a carry. So yeah, man, I just hope that we're getting this ball moving in the right direction. I did say I didn't want to hold y'all too long. That's why I'm kind of rushing through this, but but yeah, man. Overall, like I said, I think this is going to be a great game. Of course, I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning. What did y'all think? What did y'all think? You think I was going to say the Green Bay Packers? Y'all crazy. I just don't feel like Green Bay has been consistent enough, with winning. And, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles have been. Nick Sirianni coming off the bye weeks. Impeccable. You feel me? So, what we going to do, man? What we going to do? You feel me? What are we going to do? Win. You already know. So, I want to make sure I ain't forgetting nothing else before I speed up out of here on y'all, because my lady out there can smell that food cooking. Shout out to my little baby. But yeah, man, like I said, offensively too, before I get off here, that playing under center, and I said this probably in the previous video, but it reminds me of that 2022 offense when they had Shane Steichen. Because the RPO, and somebody did educate me on this on Twitter. Shout out to my man, but told me that the RPO, they kind of went away from that because the offensive lineman downfield too early and things like that, getting penalized, whatever the case may be. But I feel like playing in the pistol, playing under center, whatever the case is now giving that same RPO effect where you got to get that defense to make a decision. Are they passing or are they running? Your quarterback is a weapon. You don't even want to call him elite no more. You want to call him a weapon because he, too, puts the fear in defenses, just like Saquon Barkley. You feel what I'm saying? Just like those elite wide receivers that we had, just like that offensive line that we had. That whole offense puts fear into opposing defenses, and I feel like they're going to continue to do that. And I know I don't want to look past Green Bay, but that Lions game is the game I'm really looking to see what that offense looks like, because to me that'd be the indicator to be like, all right, you know what, we can go to the Super Bowl. That and then the Chicago game against Ben Johnson, because I already know the defense going to come into play, but I want to see what that offense do too as well against Ben Johnson and all that. So, but yeah, man, and then the Bills as well. But yeah, I just feel like offensively we can get this ball rolling, or to actually run this ball, keep this ball moving. We're going right back to the Super Bowl, man. I don't want to, put the cart before the horse, but we're going right back. So, with that being said, man, I do appreciate y'all stopping through. Before you get out of here, if you could for me, please like, comment, and subscribe to always catch this vibe. And I'm your favorite host, your only host, Niall Frazier. And before we get up out of here, man, y'all already know. Go Birds. I'ma holla at y'all. Like I said, make sure y'all sub, comment, let me know what y'all feeling. Do y'all feel like the Eagles are gonna win? Do you feel like they won the trade deadline? Let's get some, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about some things. So I do appreciate y'all stopping by once again, and I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna holla at y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. Also be tuned in. I wanna say tomorrow, I think DV says 7 o'clock. I'm going on King DV's podcast. We're trying to get something going on, like what me and Mr. Reggie do. A little joint podcast about the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're not following King DV, I think it's King DV Sports if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to get that information, throw it in the description. But I'm going to holla at y'all, man. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. And y'all already know, man, go Birds. I'm going to talk to y'all.